Thunder Breathing's first form, Thunderclap and Flash. In the popular manga, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the members of the Demon Slayer Corps use breathing techniques that fit their fighting style in order to make themselves stronger. The users of thunder breathing in the story include Zenitsu Agatsuma, who joined the Demon Slayer Corps at the same time as the hero of the story, Tanjiro Kamado, and Kaigaku, who trained at the same time as Zenitsu. Zenitsu can only use thunder breathing's first form, Thunderclap and Flash, but on the other hand, Kaigaku cannot use the first form. The first form is the basis for all the other forms of thunder breathing, so it must have been hard to learn the practical use cases of thunder breathing without learning the base. So, why can't Kaigaku use the first form? Was there a difference between Kaigaku and the other members of the Demon Slayer Corps? We will take a deep dive into the cause and see if it was mental or physical. So, please be sure to watch until the end of the video. Here we go! Thunder breathing, first form. Thunder breathing is one of the 5 breathing styles that branched off from the first breathing style. Forms 2 and 6 are used to pin the opponent, and the first form is used to give the finishing blow. So, the first form is thought as the foundation of the others. Zenitsu can only use the first form, but he could use it multiple times in a row and also used it to put together his own 7th form. This means that if someone can remember the first form, it can easily be applied in many situations. So, just what is thunder breathing first form, Thunderclap and Flash? Judging by how Zenitsu uses the first form, it is a type of iaido, or Japanese swordsmanship called Bato Jutsu. This style consists of holding the sword within the scabbard, which is held at the waist, until the user gets close to their opponent when they unsheath their sword and attack their opponent, causing heavy damage. The user has to get close to their enemy with their sword sheathed, so it's easy for them to get attacked. The essence of this technique is getting close to the enemy without taking any damage. In the case of thunder breathing, speed is the most important thing. So, to be as fast as Zenitsu, the user has to be conscious of the muscles and veins of the leg. It's a speed that's so fast that even demons cannot follow it, as it leaves behind only a roar like thunder. In order to gain the necessary speed to get close to opponents, a strong stance using the right leg is needed. Then, in order to get the killing blow, the sword has to be pulled out of its scabbard quickly. If the attack from the sheath is not fast, the enemy will know the user is close and be able to counterattack. If the user thinks that they will be attacked before they get close, or that they will be counterattacked if they miss, they will not be able to use a technique. Anxiety and fear cause physical tension, so it is difficult to step up and use a technique. During the Entertainment District arc, Zenitsu was able to use the first form on upper rank number 6 after he went unconscious. The only way that Zenitsu moves as fast as he does is because he loses his fear of the situation when he goes out cold. You might think attacking while sleeping might not work, but it works in this case. Before the battle at the Dimensional Infinity Fortress, Zenitsu was able to overcome his fears and fight in the final battle with his own strong will. But what about Kaigaku? Knowing what we do about the first form, let's look at what keeps Kaigaku from using it in battle. Could it be fear or something more? Does he feel fear? Kaigaku is very particular about how he lives and commits himself to surviving at any cost. When he was young, in order to live, when he was attacked by demons, he handed over other humans to them. He was the only one that survived on that day. When he was a member of the Demon Slayer Corps and crossed swords with upper rank number 1, he saw that he was not going to win. So he bowed down and begged for his life. It was at that point that he was turned into a demon. As long as he was able to live, even if other humans were attacked by other demons because of him, or his teacher had to take responsibility for his actions, Kaigaku did not care at all. The policy of living at any cost is important for Kaigaku, but he is going too far if he's willing to sacrifice others. Kaigaku was obsessed with living, but he took a chance to become a demon. Even so, he might still hesitate when it comes to using techniques that bring him close to his opponents. The thought of being counterattacked if he were to abandon his defenses and fail on the attack would come to his mind and cause his body to become tense with fear. Also, the reason why Kaigaku threw peaches and insults at Zenitsu was because he is the type of person who tries to intimidate those that he sees as weaker than him. He was a person who tried to flatter someone who was stronger and couldn't move because of fear when he was confronted by a demon, but that is normal. He would try to intimidate those who were weaker than him, but he would not even have the courage to take a step forward if he felt any fear. On the other hand, it could be said that Kaigaku was rather courageous because he negotiated with a demon in order to prolong his life. That makes sense because a normal person would not be able to negotiate with a demon. But was that really courageous? Courage refers to a brave and strong heart that stands up without feeling dread to the fears and anxieties of ordinary people. At the moment he knew he could not stand up to the demons, Kaigaku would feel fear and anxiety, so he would probably decide to run away instead of negotiating with the demons. If it was not bravery that caused him to decide to negotiate with the demons, then it was probably fear that prevented him from moving close to his enemy to attack. But if that were the case, even though he could probably not use the first form when fighting demons because he was too scared, he should have been able to perform the technique during training. So, other than fear, let's see what could be the cause. His cultivator didn't teach him? Cultivators are the people that teach and nurture those who want to join the Demon Slayer Corps. Kaigaku learned thunder breathing under the former thunder pillar, Jigoro Kuwajima. At the age of 35, Jigoro lost part of his right leg to a demon and, as a result, retired from his post of pillar to become a cultivator. He now uses a prosthesis for his right leg. To correctly utilize the first form, the user must step forward toward the opponent on his right leg and move very quickly. But because Jigoro lost his right leg, it could be that he could not step forward as he once did, and, as a result, could not show Kaigaku how to perform the first form. Without being shown, it would be hard to learn how to perform the actions for the first form with just words. But Zenitsu was also Jigoro's student, and he knew how to use the first form. It could be that because Zenitsu has natural talents and could have learned how to perform the first form with just words, and Jigoro's demonstration with his prosthesis. Even if Kaigaku could not understand Jigoro's explanation, if Zenitsu, who was able to master the first form, showed it to him, Kaigaku should have been able to understand what the first form was all about. Even if that were the case, Kaigaku's pride would not allow him to learn the first form from Zenitsu because Kaigaku saw himself superior to the always crying Zenitsu. Suitability. The first form of thunder breathing is that breathing technique's foundation. This means a lot of importance of thunder breathing is found within the first form. It is possible that Kaigaku, who cannot use the first form, was not suitable for that breathing technique in the first place. There are examples in the story of people with aptitudes from breathing techniques other than the ones they learned. For example, Tanjiro learned water breathing from former water pillar Sakonji Rokudaki, but he really had an aptitude for sun breathing. A cultivator is not chosen after the aptitudes of the student are known, so there are many cases of a student being taught a breathing technique that is not aligned with their abilities. Also, there are soldiers that derive their own breathing style from the one that they were taught. The sound pillar, Tengen Uzui, derived his own breathing style, sound breathing, from thunder breathing. The reason that we think thunder breathing could be unsuitable for Kaigaku is not only because he cannot use the first form, but also because his Nichirin sword is not the natural color for thunder breathers. A Nichirin sword is a sword that will change to a color that suits the user when it's first pulled out of its scabbard. Unfortunately, there are no drawings of Kaigaku's sword when he was a human, so we have to guess what it would be from the color of his sword after he got turned into a demon. It's said in the fanbook that he created his sword as a demon, so it appeared to be his Nichirin sword as a human. Kaigaku's sword does have a yellow lightning bolt on it, but the main color is black. The swords of most users of thunder breathing tend to turn to a yellow color. So Kaigaku, who had a sword that was mainly black, might not have had the skill to be a thunder breather. It could be that Kaigaku would have been better suited for a breathing technique that was derived from thunder breathing. On the other hand, if Kaigaku had no talent for thunder breathing, he would not be able to use any of the other forms as well. It seems that this theory might not be exactly right because we do not know what his Nichirin sword looked like, and we cannot say that thunder breathing was not right for him. Leg problems. Kaigaku did not have a family when he was young, and he lived by drinking muddy water. Since he lived that way, he did not have enough to eat or drink. This means that his body did not get enough nutrients. Malnutrition, especially during the important childhood period in which the body is forming, does not allow the body to develop normally. For example, beriberi, which can develop because of a lack of vitamin B1, troubled so many Japanese people during the Taisho era that it was called one of the 2 national illnesses of Japan. Beriberi can also cause peripheral neuropathy, such as numbness in the limbs, and even if diet improves, it does not seem to heal immediately. Even with a proper diet and the ability to eat things like peaches, the symptoms of Kaigaku might not have completely disappeared. There's also a possibility that he might not have been injured as a child, and he might be feeling the after effects. The first form concentrates power into the legs of the user, which are used to close distances in an instance. If there were something wrong with Kaigaku's feet, he would not be able to deeply step forward, which is important for the first form. In the manga, Zenitsu said that Thunderclap and Flash really hurts the legs, so it can only be done 2 times, and when he had a damaged leg, he can only perform the technique once. It seems that the condition of the user's legs are important. Just like Zenitsu says, the power of the first form depends on the condition of the user's legs. Because of that, there is a chance that because of what happened to Kaigaku as a child, he would not be able to use the first form, which depends upon the condition of the user's legs when stepping forward to attack. He was left-handed? There's also a theory that Kaigaku was left-handed, so he could not use the first form because it requires stepping forward on the right leg. When a person wields a sword in their right hand, they grip the sword with their right hand above the left hand, and in order to draw the sword from the sheath with the right hand, it has to be held on the left side of the body. Kaigaku looks to be right-handed because he holds his sword with his right hand. However, because of the shape of the sword and the fact that the number of left-handed soldiers is small, it seems that even if a person is left-handed, they are often corrected to be right-handed. With that being the case, even though he looks like he's right-handed now, it could be that he's actually left-handed. The reason for this theory is that there's a depiction of Kaigaku holding a sword with his right hand on top during battle, and then picking it up with his left hand on top. I have to say that it does seem a little strange that he would change the way he's holding his sword during battle. The reason is probably because even though he was trained to use his sword as a right-handed person, during the battle, his old habits came out, and he held his sword as a left-handed person would. If Kaigaku was originally left-handed, there's a chance that his left leg would be his dominant leg, so stepping forward so far on his right leg would be hard for him. But even if that were the case, he was corrected to the point that he could use the sword normally in his right hand, so his dominant leg would also probably be corrected. I do wonder why he changed which hand he was using to hold his sword during battle, but in general, I think this theory does not have a lot of support. Could it be Kaigaku's personality? We overlooked various possibilities about why Kaigaku could not use the first form. Not only could Zenitsu, who Kaigaku looked down on, use the first form, but Kaigaku must have felt humiliated by being ridiculed by the other soldiers for not using it. There must have been a reason why he could use every form of thunder breathing except for the first form. Personally, I think the theories about him being too afraid to take the step forward, Jigoro not teaching him correctly, and there being something wrong with Kaigaku's leg are probably correct. Of course, there's no rule if the soldier can't use all the attacks. They won't be recognized as a soldier. So even if Kaigaku can't use the first form, it's okay, as long as he can kill demons. In all reality, it's not a huge problem that he cannot use the first form, as long as he develops the other forms completely, like Zenitsu did with the first form. The reason why Kaigaku cannot use the first form stands out is that he was so hard on Zenitsu and saved himself by killing others. So many people think that he deserves to not be able to use the first form. Kaigaku's personality is more disappointing than the fact that he cannot use the first form. That's all we have to say about why Kaigaku cannot use the first form. Do you think that there could be other possible reasons for him not being able to use the first form? Please let us know down in the comments. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. We will be uploading more surprising videos on Kimetsu no Yaiba soon, so please be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a thing. See you next time!